Y'all, I am back. Season 2, Episode 3 review, Love is Blind UK. Let's keep it going. Now we talk about Megan finds out about Kieran's connection with Sophie in the ladies' lounge, and she wants to discuss it in the pods. And now we see Jed and Barda, one of my faves, go on their date. Jed said he wants his kids' names tattooed on him since he don't have any tattoos yet. Barda said she migrated to the UK because of war in her country. And she said she'd been working at 13. Now she's at the highest since she was 13. Now she is at the highest level in her company. Um, he says he has many notes with memories with her through the and she said I fancy you through a wall, which basically means I like you, even though we're dating through a wall. And we see now Cal and Sorover are going on a are actually they're going to meet, and Cal is wearing his Indian attire, and she looks beautiful in a red dress that looks like the dancing emoji. If you know, you know. He called her princess and said, "Your prince has arrived." She loved his outfit. He proposed in person and placed the ring on her finger and kisses her hand. And she said that he was so handsome. They exchanged I love yous, and it was such a great meeting. Now we see Anu and Patrick on their fourth date. Anu said that she's humble, and Patrick disagrees with the society's definition of humility, and Anu just seems confused. And in that moment, Patrick thinks the connection seems to fade. At this point, Patrick thinks that their connection does not align. Anu and Patrick are actually the couple right there in the middle. Patrick thinks that oh no, now we're in the ladies now, and Katisha cries, and Barta consoled her because she said she's overwhelmed about the feeling of being a priority in a relationship with the mullah. Because this one, the mullah is very demonstrative of his feelings towards her, and it's overwhelming for her because she's never been with a man who's shown his feelings before. We'll get to Katisha later. She's another one I don't believe was ready to be part of this process because she was so unhealed, similar to Sophie. And now we see that Kieran and Sophie go on their fourth date. Sophie feels disrespected by Kieran because of because she gifted what she gifted Megan. Sophie feels that that he showed his intentions, and it's clear what he wants at this point, that he prefers to pursue Megan, and that she said that she simply does not. Sophie says she just simply does not want to be a second choice. Kieran then apologizes for causing her any sadness or any disrespect. Sophie then learns that it's okay to be vulnerable. So now we see Patrick and Sophie go on their fifth date. Patrick says that she adds excitement and joy to his life, and Patrick is curious about her. The date ends, and for some, he does feel that the connection is gone. I believe on this date is when he asks Anu to sing for him, and she does decline. Now we see Javin and Katisha going on their third date, and Katisha wants reassurance from Javin, feels like that he is holding back. She said to him that the other connection knows where he stands with her. That's the mullah, the guy she ends up fumbling. And Katisha thinks Javin is moving at a slower pace, and in the male lounge, he claims that the other connection, he's referring to the mullah, is love bombing. Because he demonstrates how he feels about her, which is a total gaslight. In the fifth episode, not fifth episode, sorry, we see Kieran and Megan go on their fifth date in the pods, and he wanted to know how things ended with. She was curious about how things ended with Sophie, and says that he's falling in love with her. And now at this point, we go on. It's the third date between one of my faves, Jed and Barda. Jed says family matters to him most, and said that she is smitten with Jed. And she set up a cute date for Jed that basically consisted of a word search and Lebanese food, and he finds the word children, Barda, Jed, ring, and another sentence that says, "I'm falling in love." And he said that he was crazy about her ever since the second date. How sweet. And I remember after their first date, I just saw the scene today, that Barter said, I met my husband, and that was so sweet. It's like she knew intuitively that she wanted to be with him. And now Katisha and Damola go on a date, and Damola plans a really sweet date for her with Spanish food from Sevilla, which is obviously a country in Spain. And he says that he's falling in love with Katisha, but then she admits to having another connection, and she admits to seeing a future with her other connection, which is Javin. Yikes. Okay, so now we see Javin and Katisha go on a date, and Katisha tells Javin that her other connection has been sure about her, and Javin tells her to do what's best for her, and that their connection is genuine. He's hurt, but feels like she's the one for him. Yeah, right. Now we go on the sixth date with Kieran and Megan, and Kieran woke up really excited. He said that he's full of adrenaline. She wrote him a poem, and it rhymed. It was so cute. His cheeks were hurt from smiling so much. He said, I love you, and he proposes. Megan cries and says, of course I'll marry you. And Megan, again, she cries tears of joy, and she's so excited about their future together. Third episode, and we have our third engaged couple. So sweet. And they both said, see you tomorrow, fiance. How cute. And now we go on our fourth date with a couple right here in the middle, right above me, Patrick and Anu. Anu wrote a song for Patrick because she felt bad for declining his request for her to sing at first. And Patrick basically said he doesn't feel deserving of the song, and he breaks up with her. And he apologizes for disappointing her and for wasting her time and not hearing her sing. And then he says goodbye. She thought they were in sync with their future endeavors, so she obviously is confused. And then Jed tells the man he's going to make Barta his wife. And then we see Jed and Barta go on their fourth date. And he tells her to stand up. And Jed got down on one knee and he proposed, and they were engaged. Barta said after her first date, she found her husband. Remember when I mentioned that? And the ladies and the gentlemen cheers to their engagement. It was so sweet. Kieran and Megan finally meet. She grabs his face and they shared some kisses, and he got down on one knee and he proposed again. And they both complimented each other's beautiful eyes, and they kissed some more. And Kieran said he definitely felt the fireworks. Now we see Katisha and Damola go on a date, and she said Javin said that she'd have to propose now, because at that point he claims he's checked out. If you know that, okay, so Javin said that Katisha would have to propose because at this point he's checked out for him to consider marrying her. Damola came on the date with a plan to propose. Then she told Damola before her decision. So Katisha told Damola before that her decision won't change. He says a goodbye, and so then at that point Katisha said that she decided to pursue her relationship with Javin, and so he says goodbye. Damola feels completely blindsided because Katisha decides to choose Javin, and now we see Katisha and Javin go on a date, and Javin said that she'd have to propose before they proposed, and she said that she could see herself marrying him, and she accepted that, and Javin proposes to her, and they're engaged. Javin and Damola hug in the men's lounge, and Damola was such a great man. He said, "Let's cheers to your engagement." Javin said marriage is scary, but he's excited. And now we see Jed and Barta meet. Jed picks her up and spins her around. And they kissed, and he placed the ring on her finger and proposed. And that's the end of, I didn't realize it, but I also reviewed episode 4. So I'll be back to continue episode 4 and episode 5. Thanks for listening. Bye.